Welcome to the first review of 2026 in Movie Emporium land. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Movie Emporium's Netflix original movie review of The Rip, the newest film from director Joe Carnahan. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for taking so long to do my first review of 2026. I do appreciate you watching either way. A lot of comments, a lot of great comments. I do appreciate it. So we have a Netflix movie which stars Ben Affleck and Matt Damon and Kyle Chandler, Stephen Yeun, Scott Adkins, Teyana Taylor, Sasha Calle. It's a murderer's row of actors in a Joe Carnahan movie, similar to like Smoking Aces. But The Rip is about Miami police officers who basically come across a thing called a rip or a seizure of about $20 million in a house that is run by, of course, Sasha Calle. And it's a very typical, very atypical Joe Carnahan movie where there are people who are corrupt, possibly. There are people who are, very machismo in their kind of actions and how they act. And it's a story about who can you trust in the world of police enforcement and the idea of a $20 million seizure and what happens when things do not go right as they currently do in most Joe Carnahan movies. But it's a movie that reunites once again Matt Damon and Ben Affleck in a movie. They haven't been on screen together since I think Air as well as The Last Duel. And it's a movie about, police corruption. This is inspired by something that happened in Miami. It actually takes place in a city I know. And it's a Netflix movie in January. So there you go. Okay, so Joe Carnahan is a very hit or miss director for me. He does stuff like Narc. He does stuff like Smoking Aces and Cop Shop and stuff like that. He's very much like Zack Snyder, a action movie director in a lot of respects. But he's a guy that can garner talent. This is very much a very big budgeted movie because it's Netflix. And, once again, it's based off inspired by whatever you want to call it, a true story of corrupt Miami police officers back in the 80s. And to be fairly honest, I didn't know much about this movie till I saw a trailer for it like 8 days ago. And I asked for a review copy, so I do appreciate that. But it's a movie where, you bring in a lot of good talent and it's going to garner a pretty decent amount of viewership on Netflix because of Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. Teyana Taylor's in this movie, who's going to be a future Oscar nominee, I'm sure, possibly an Oscar winner. And so that leads into my honest opinion of this new Joe Carnahan movie. And to be fairly honest with you, I enjoyed the movie. For what it is, it's very much a Joe Carnahan movie, so take that for what it's worth. It has very much leaps of logic. It has a lot of action set pieces, very violent, very coarse in its language, but the cast and crew really elevate this movie to be more than it really should be, which is a very January-esque type of movie when it comes to the action set pieces and stuff like that. So it should be a very terrible movie, but it's really not. And once again, you have a great A-list group of casting. It's really strange that this movie is put in January instead of like put in theaters because Netflix is very allergic to theaters apparently. But I don't know. I had fun with this movie. The twists and turns. There are twists and turns in this movie are a little illogical and don't make any sense. And you have to leave your brain at the door. You're kind of engrossed by the fact that, these cops may or may not be corrupt and, they have issues and they have history where one of their members has been killed and they're trying to figure out who killed them, and it leads into some accusations, and you're wondering if Matt Damon or Ben Affleck are bad guys or they're good guys, and what would happen if you have found $20 million and how would you react to that. And it's basically a movie about who is the right and who is the wrong in a movie like this, and therefore I don't know. It's just a fun movie, to be fairly honest. There's not much more else than that to go off on a movie like this because Joe Carnahan is just a director that knows what he wants out of a movie. He knows the lane he picks. He knows the type of style he likes to direct. And once again, it's a very coarse movie to watch, and it's a beautiful movie to watch. It's shot in 4K and shot on digital, and it's just a movie that, has some good actors in it. That's all I really can say about this movie without really spoiling the kind of nature of the twists and turns that it goes through. But, you have great actors. Ben Affleck and Matt Damon are fun in this movie. You get a lot of good brothership in this movie. And, Scott Adkins is in this movie as an FBI agent. And Mr. Carbonell is in this movie. And, that's basically The Rip. It's a movie about a seizure that, you know, goes wrong, and like the trials and tribulations of whether you should take that money or not. So there you go. So that's my take on The Rip, the newest film in Jessica Carnahan's filmography, I guess you could say. It sounds like I hate this movie. I really don't. I really enjoy this. I think it's a movie, if you can deal with the leaps of logic and deal with the, you know, kind of twists and turns that don't make any sense, I think you'll have fun with it. But it's very much a Joe Carnahan movie if you've ever seen any movies like Boss Level and stuff like that. So take that for what it's worth. Like I said, it's an enjoyable movie, so we'll leave it at that. So there you go. Anyways, that's my take. I do appreciate it. In the comments below, what do you think of this movie overall if you've seen it? What do you think, you know, what do you think of Joe Carnahan? What do you think of the Matt Damons and Ben Afflecks of the world? You know, Teyana Taylor's in this movie, you know, right before she becomes an Oscar nominee, I'm sure. So let me know in the comments. But otherwise, if you like what you see on the channel, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium. Hit that notification bell at the top of the funnel coming next. If you like this video, awesome. Hit that like button. And I look forward to bringing you more reviews in 2026. Peace out, guys.